We got this guy. He is the ear, call him like the pinna, right?
Pinna, yeah.
We got the lobule and whatnot, and we've got our ear canal. And inside the ear canal, we've got this guy, something like that. He is called the tympanic membrane, also known as the eardrum, right? And connected to him, we have ossicles, auditory ossicles, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to draw the exact shapes of them.
That's fine.
I don't really know them off the top of my head. I know stapes, that's for sure. But these are auditory ossicles. And what's the purpose of auditory ossicles?
They vibrate.
Yeah, they carry the vibration from the sound waves, right? And they actually help amplify it just because of their shape and the way that they carry the sound. And so here we have a cochlea. And the cochlea is really where we are able to use the sound to make some kind of sense of it. It's kind of like a seashell. I'm not doing the whole thing. This is kind of a real simplified version. It looks like the mountain off of Nightmare Before Christmas. But the stapes is connected to something on the cochlea. Any guesses?
The oval
The oval window. Yeah, it's connected to the oval window. And below the oval window is the round window. Good job.
Those are both on the
Both on the cochlea. And then here, inside of the cochlea, we have a membrane that goes throughout it all. Kind of divides it in the middle. And the name of that is the basilar membrane. And we really want to shape the basilar membrane. That's one thing that we want sound waves to do, and that helps us to hear something. If it can't shake the basilar membrane, we can't hear something. We're going to go into that in just a little bit. So, a sound wave enters our ear, right? Travels down our ear canal, hits the tympanic membrane, and the auditory ossicles kind of move with the tympanic membrane, and they carry those vibrations. And they carry those vibrations, and they insert them through that oval window. And as they enter through the oval window, they travel into the cochlea. And we're going to stop right here for a little bit. What they'll start doing as it enters into the cochlea is they're traveling through the liquid that's inside of it. It's a liquid really full of potassium. It's called paralymph. We'll just call it cochlear liquid. And it's causing this basal membrane to kind of like wiggle. It's vibrating, right? And so as that's vibrating, it's also causing waves on this side. And they're kind of traveling back this way a little bit. And it hits the round window. What's the round window going to do with that sound? It'll kind of vibrate, right? It's kind of like, have you ever seen a big subwoofer? How when you're at a party, it kind of just like boom, 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 right? It kind of does that. So this is doing the same thing, but it's kind of absorbing the energy. It's kind of a release of the tension that's building up from all that sound.
That way it wouldn't like bounce back and
Yeah.
just create distortion in your sound.
If it bounces back, you're going to have a hard time hearing, right?
Okay.
So maybe an effect of replacing the round window with something hard would be that sounds are just kind of muffled. Okay, so does that make sense? Any questions with that? Pretty simple. Okay, so these waves are going to travel down on this basal membrane. And something we're going to go over first, before we get into the cross-sectional view of this, is there's something called Stereocilia. And they're little hair cells. They start off real small here at the beginning, but the further we go into the cochlea, the longer they're going to get. And the longer they are, the deeper the sound it is when it vibrates. Hello, hello. We're going over the ear.
What were those called again?
Stereocilia, or hair cells.
Oh.
And so it's like, if you ever taken like a thin piece of metal and like shake it? Kind of like a high-pitched noise. If you take a big board, it's like when you shake it, right? It's kind of the same thing that happens here. These are nice and big. So as you shake it, it makes a lower sound, lower pitch. Whereas here you're going to get a higher pitch because they're short and probably a little more stiff. Okay, we take a cross-sectional view of this guy, and we're going to be looking inside of the cochlea. This look familiar to everybody? This is filled with what kind of fluid? Parallel. This is filled with what kind of fluid?
Parallel. And then that's indolent, right?
Yep. Indolent.
Does that have high potassium as well?
I believe so. I think the only difference is where it's located,
Okay.
from what I've heard. So here, this is the basilar membrane. That's really what we want to shake. So sound's going to be entering through this top one, right? Through the oval window. We're going to get vibrations. We want this to shake. As that shakes, we have another membrane here. This membrane is not like a complete membrane. It's kind of just like a limb that's hanging off. And he is called the tectorial membrane. So him and the basilar membrane work together to help us hear sound.
Why are the hairs getting larger as we go back? Is that just lower tones
Yeah.
get picked up? Okay.
Yeah. And so when people get older, like if you think about this, which hairs are getting hit the most?
One's closer, I think.
The one's really close, right? And these are responsible for high pitch. And so if those are getting hit the most, they could actually get worn out over time. So when people are 60, 70, 80, 90, 200 years old, those get worn out and they have a hard time listening to high pitches.
Okay.
Well,
so
not
that's
listening to them, hearing them.
why you can have like mosquito ringtones in high school. Kids would use those all the time.
Yeah, and everyone's all snickering like,
The teacher's like,
can't
"What's
hear
up,
it,
buddy?"
And then you got everybody having a headache by lunchtime. Yeah. So that's the
There's
same
one
thing, same concept. But if you hit these ones, these don't get hit as hard or as often, and so they can still hear low voices. So sometimes older people could actually have a hard time listening to probably a younger child's voice, whereas talking to adults is easier for them to listen to.
As the voice rounds out.
Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be kind of small, but I'm going to magnify it over here. We have hair cells located in here. Those are the hair cells we're referring to.
The ones inside the cochlea are just stereocilia.
Yeah. We can actually leave it all up. Okay, so we're going to magnify this guy right here.
Wait, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So those hair cells right there, are those hair cells?
Yeah.
They're the same thing. Okay.
It's kind of weird how it's drawn here, but
No,
it
yeah.
kind of gives you a visual.
Uh-huh.
Wait, so those are the stereocilia are the same as the ones in the organ of corti you're drawing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as this tube right here gets
Yeah.
further up that way,
Uh-huh.
these are going to get longer and longer.
Okay.
So maybe further down it's going to be more like this. Have real long ones
Uh-huh.
versus those short ones, right?